Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. My name is Lucas, and I have Eric here as always.
Hey guys.
And today we will be taking a look at the 2020 presidential election according to the polls. We did this video 2 weeks ago. We're going to do it one more time because we did see some new data and we did want to update you all on that. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So as you can see here, I already have plotted out the no data states. These are states where there's not any data from polling due to the fact that probably because a lot of these are safe, like Illinois is safe, South Dakota is safe. What we'll do at the end of the episode is we'll fill it in with like the other color, the color we think it will be, so we can fully see what the map would be if it was based on polling. But for now, let's start with Alabama in our first state here. Alabama, 18-point lead. I think last time we checked it was also in the safe margin, but it was a lot narrower. I think we saw some new polls coming out that 22-14, so this one's safe. No surprise here. All right, next state is Alaska. Surprisingly, we saw, closer than we thought, but it is a pretty high undecided number, so we don't want to jump to conclusions yet. For this video, we are going to count polls that were done in December 2019 or later. Like if it was done in like early 2019, there's not really a point of including it. Although we could. You know what? Yeah, I don't think we should do it because it is a bit too early.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed in the last few months, and just adding polls before this year is kind of irrelevant at this rate.
I agree. So, first one here, it's actually a lean. 3.33, I just did the math right now. Don't expect this to be swing. I think this will go to Biden either way. Sorry, will go to Trump either way because it is solid red. And the polls that they are showing here do have a relatively high undecided number who at the end of the day will go to the Trump column. All right. Arizona now. First key swing state. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very competitive. 3.6 lead average. Pretty.
Yep.
I expect that, at the end of the election, it's probably going to be that lead, if maybe a little narrower, but 3.6 is at the moment where it's at, and I think that's pretty accurate. Wow,
I definitely agree. Yeah. Change Research has Biden up by only one, but not really great pollster. Trafalgar has a clear bias to the right. We generally don't really trust Trafalgar that much, but +1 there. I think there was one more with Trump up that we do think is an outlier. Yeah. This one probably will go to Biden at the end of the day. I think a little bit less than 3.6, maybe like 3 points, but this will be a lean for Biden. That reminds me, forgot to go over the margins. We forget this every video, but our margins are 15 points or more is a safe, 5 to 15 points is a likely, and then 1 to 5 points is a lean, and less than 1 point lead is a tilt. So it's a lean. Let's head now into Arkansas. Yeah, this was the surprising one. They only had one poll out and had it at a lean, so let's just go with that. All right.
Yeah, that's probably an outlier poll. Arkansas is pretty safe Republican, and that's probably how it's going to go in the election.
California, no surprise here. We keep getting comments from people saying that California is going to be swing, and no, there will not be an upset in California. This is one of the most solid Democratic states.
You never know what could happen, like in further elections, but right now, California swinging? No, you guys are all wrong. I'm sorry.
And I disagree. I don't think that in the future it's going to be more. It's going to maybe become swing because California is actually moving more to the left. So I don't see this turning red anytime soon. So to those of you commenting that California there's going to be an upset there, it's not going to happen. So this one's safe. All right. Next state is Colorado. 13-point lead for Biden. Colorado has swung a lot to the left recently.
Yeah.
His lead actually dropped. He was in the safe margin for quite a bit of time, and then he dropped in early July.
Colorado is still considered a swing state, but like everyone knows that it's leaning more and more Democratic there.
Right, and that's why we kind of also predict that Hickenlooper will defeat Gardner at the end of the day as well. So this one is a likely, but probably going to go to Biden anyways. All right. Next state is Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut, 21 points. No shock. It's Connecticut. All right. Delaware, Joe Biden's home state. Wow, only one poll out. That kind of does show how safe it is. One
How
poll, 1 point.
unnecessary it is to poll the people there for the most part.
Yeah, it's not. Biden leads by 16. Some of the other margins are kind of smaller. That's interesting, but 16-point lead. Florida, another key swing state. Joe Biden's lead actually did reduce here. It was up at like 7 points before. Yeah. It has dropped to 5.4 points, but that's still nothing to laugh about. I don't think Hillary was leading here by these margins. Possibly, maybe after the convention. I don't remember completely, but Trump was leading the polls in Florida after at the end of the day, right before Election Day. So 5.4 point lead. DeSantis is not doing well here handling the coronavirus. It's going to reflect pretty badly on him, but this one's likely. All right. It's a huge prize. Georgia was an interesting one in that we saw Biden up for a small blip of time. Actually, more than that. During this time, he was up at his high to like almost 2 points. That has since changed, but
yeah, that has changed. Once again, that, as I say in a lot of videos, the Democrats were experiencing their high point in that area, July, basically the whole month of July. Now that's kind of losing some steam, which is why Donald Trump has been, up in the polls nowadays.
Yeah. And although it is kind of interesting to see Biden up in the most recent poll, that was actually an A pollster, so that's interesting to see. Mm-hmm. So that is a tilt because it is 0.5. Next state up is Hawaii. Yeah.
What a margin.
No shock. Indiana, Mike Pence's home state. This is actually, Trump has expanded his lead here. Last time we checked in, it was like here. Now it's become 14.2, still within the likely margin. Last time a Democrat won this was Obama 2008, but, he was that one-time candidate. He was extremely well-liked.
Charismatic, everything, yeah.
Yeah.
People like.
So, 2008 was a crazy year. Iowa. 1.3 points, no surprise here. A lot of these suburbs and rural areas probably will vote more Republican. 1.3. I mean, I think that's probably about where.
Yeah, where we would put. Maybe it would probably, I think Donald Trump can win this by like 2 to 3 points. Definitely less. What he won by 2016 because, time's definitely.
Yeah. You know what? I would actually probably say like 3 to 5 because Iowa is trending to the right. But this, I don't think Joe Biden should be focusing on this state anyways, because he doesn't have much shot at it. Kansas, oh, wow. That's a drop there. Trump plus 7, 7, 12. Steve Kornacki saying that Kansas was going to be a toss-up in 2016. Yeah, no. Kansas is less Republican than some of these states, but still solidly Republican. Kentucky, we have an interesting Senate race here. Well, not really, but lead also seemed to dip a tiny bit for Trump, but 16 points is nothing to be sad about. No shock. Mm-hmm. Maine. Do they differentiate? I think they might actually. They do differentiate. So I'm not sure what this average. I think this average might be statewide. I'm not sure. Are they taking into account district polls too?
Possibly. Maybe that's the all-state average.
Yeah. Okay. I'll assume let's assume that's the all-state average, so that's likely for all-state. District 2 actually looks like 1-1. That's a cancel. 1-3. Huh. Looks like it's a Biden lead by 3. Oh wait,
Wow.
no. Sorry. No, I can't do math today. It's 3 divided by 3. It's Biden lead by 1. So it is a average 1 for Biden. So that is a
That's a lead.
That's a lean. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, we don't think it's gonna go that way. District 1, I can probably assume that it is safe. Yeah. That's definitely safe. Okay.
Wow.
All right, Maryland now. Surprisingly have a Republican governor, but we see that sometimes. I'm not even going to calculate the numbers. It's safe.
It's safe. The whole coast is going to be safe, despite pollsters, despite fundamentals. All the coasts of each countries are fairly safe.
Yeah.
Each side of the country is what.
Right. This is Massachusetts safe as well. 32 points, no shock. All right. Michigan is another key battleground state. We have this one actually as likely now because we think this probably will go to Biden. 7.6-point lead for Biden. No surprise here. He's doing quite well here.
It kind of, in quotes, dropped for him, but he's still, once again, 7 points, 6 points. It used to be higher, but yeah, Biden is, my prediction is Biden's going to very sweep Michigan because, Donald Trump pulled out ads out of there. Biden has a pretty good chance in Michigan.
And I think that Biden will probably learn for Clinton's lessons and, actually try a bit more in the Midwest, unlike Hillary. He was up at about 10 points at one point, but I think he still has a very decent chance here. Because Michigan went to Trump in 2016 by only 0.22% anyways, so there's that. Did I put – okay, yeah, I did. Okay. All right. Minnesota has been surprising, to say the least.
This is probably one of the surprising pollsters that we look at. 5.5. Look at this. This isn't yesterday's video where I said it was a staircase because it's a physical downward staircase. It used to be at 10. That was the high point. And now it went from 8 to 6 to 5.5.
Oh, yeah, it's slashed in half. So
it's more than Michigan, and we usually put Minnesota as likely even before all of these, elections. Yeah. So very interesting to see.
Right, and we have an A- pollster here showing Biden only by 2. All right. Clinton was only able to win this one by I think it was 3%. But I think Biden will still win this one at the end of the day. Surprising that the margin is so narrow, though. That's one that we definitely want to take a look at. Mississippi, I think it is a likely. High African-American electorate. We could see higher turnout there, and they do tend to vote for the Democrats. Did I put Georgia's till? Oh, yeah, sorry. I confused myself. But, yes, we do think this one could definitely narrow down to a likely margin, although Trump is doing a little bit better than before. So, Missouri now. Missouri also very strange, quite closer than we expected. I think now it's a little bit more reasonable because when we first did this polls video here, he was only up by 2 points. Now it's moved towards the likely column at this point. No surprise here because Missouri is pretty solidly Republican. All right. Montana. Wow, this one's likely.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially for a poll. A- pollster gives Trump +9. We think it's going in a likely safe area. The Senate race here is quite competitive, but the presidential race, they usually vote for the Republican.
Right, and we could see split balloting here because in 2016 we saw them elect Steve Bullock, but elected Trump by a very wide margin. So split balloting will definitely be there. Nebraska doesn't have any data. Let me actually mark that for the all-state or I believe 3rd district. 3rd district, surprisingly, actually is probably the most solid district/state in the whole United States. They're solidly Republican. So Nebraska first is we see. Oh, okay, looks like a new poll came out for Nebraska first, but we don't care about that. But wow, only by +2. Oops, that's a bit surprising. You'd expect Nebraska one to be a little bit more solider. I don't think that's a word, but you'd think it'd be a little bit more solid for Trump than just 2 points. But Nebraska second, we think will go to Biden. This is within a likely margin. Wow. Quite surprising that it's a likely. We put this one as tilt. Polling shows interesting data there. Let's head now to Nevada. Nevada is a swing state in quotes. This state actually predicted Trump to win in 2016, which he obviously didn't win the state at the end of the day. So to be clear, polling isn't always favoring the Democrats. It does favor Republicans sometimes, as well in 2016.
Like Arizona favors it. The Republican Nevada does that area.
So this one's a 6.8 point lead for Biden. Has narrowed up from the 8 points it was before, but still will go to Biden at the end of the day. Very likely. New Hampshire now, 9.4 point lead. This obviously expanded. When we first started this, it was actually relatively competitive. 3 points, and then has expanded a lot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, 13 points, probably an outlier there. So, against Bloomberg. But this one pretty obviously will probably go to the Democrats. Joe Biden anyways.
Yeah.
Swing state in quotes, but has not voted for a Republican in quite a while. New Jersey, great state, 20-point lead. No surprise.
Once again, very safe. No chance of going to the Republican. The last time they went to the Republican was maybe...
I think it went to Reagan. And possibly Bush, too. Bush Sr., I think. Yeah. All right, so now we're at New Mexico. New Mexico, we have moved it to solid, but this is a likely margin. I mean, no surprise. New Mexico is trending a lot to the left now. A pretty high Hispanic population, electorate. It did go to, I think, Bush in 2004. So that's interesting. So
it has solidified to the left.
New York. Despite what Trump says that he has a chance here, no. He does not have a chance at winning his home state. Absolutely zero chance. If he wants to spend money here, that's a terrible move because then he's wasting money here, not focusing on the key swing states. That's not good. And the reason why is because I didn't think we need to explain this here, but apparently we do now because people think he's going to win New York. The reason for that is because New York City, most populated city in the United States, is extremely Democratic, with the exception of Long Island. I want to say Staten Island.
Yeah.
But it's extremely Democratic. So, no.
Manhattan, Brooklyn area, super, super blue.
Right. And, like, Staten Island is pretty Republican, but it's not even that populated. Like, New York City, like, Manhattan, Brooklyn, very Democratic. Mm-hmm. So, no, he does not have a chance. North Carolina, Biden now has a 1.3 point lead.
It's pretty narrow here.
Yeah, we saw a recent poll come out showing a tie. So, wow. This has been a back-and-forth race in poll. I mean, not back and forth, but Biden always was leading, but always by a very narrow margin. That has come down a bit now to 1.7. Still a lean. We have this one as tilt right now, although we could see it possibly swing Republican come November. North Dakota.
No surprise. Look at these.
Yeah, no shock. Yeah, no surprise here. Ohio. Yeah, as we made a video on this, Biden regained his lead now. He has a 0.5 lead, which falls under our tilt.
We made a video on this, link in the description if you want to check it out.
Yup, leaving a link in the description for that. All right, that's Ohio. Very key swing state. This went to Obama, and both times he ran, lost it to Trump. Hillary lost it to Trump by quite a bit in 2016. So, very, very key. Although Biden doesn't need to win it if he wants to win the election. He just needs to win the blue wall. But it's a good bonus. All right. Oklahoma now. 23 points. No shock. Pennsylvania, another key battleground state, 479. This has moved also from our predictions, although change is not really a good source. This has also moved to the lean column for us in our actual predictions now. This is likely regarding polling. No surprise, Pennsylvania does look like it's going to be a good position to go to Joe Biden this time. Yeah. South Carolina, we actually made a video about Lindsey Graham here. Trump's lead did seem to drop now to a 6.3 point lead, a 6.5 point lead.
South Carolina is pretty Republican.
Yeah. So that's a likely, although it is bordering lean. So that's interesting to see. All right, next one here is Tennessee, 11 points. No surprise here. The last time like a Democrat even had a chance of winning statewide office was like 2018, actually. Phil Bredesen, the former governor, ran. He lost by about like double digits still anyway, so. And now the all-important state of Texas. Biden held a lead here for a couple of days that has since slipped away to now 0.5 lead. But to be honest, the most recent poll that swung it that way was Trafalgar, and Trafalgar has a very clear bias to the right. So although this is tilt, polling should be a little bit closer than 0.5 genuinely. But we do think Biden will lose Texas at the end of the day because there are still, Republican counties, very strong Republican counties there anyway. Utah, 11 points. This one actually went to Mitt Romney in a very, very large margin. Trump won it by a lot less. Evan McMullen in 2016 could have been a factor, but it's not as Republican as some of the other solid Republican states. All right. Virginia. GOP in Virginia has been doing terrible recently. No surprise here. That's a 10-point lead for Biden. I don't expect a Republican to ever win the state in possibly anywhere in the near future. It's looking very good for the Democrats. Now, funny thing is, I was actually looking at 2012 election night, 2008 election night, and they were all like, it's the all-important battleground state of Virginia, and now we don't even we barely talk about it now because of how safe it's become.
And Joe Biden has won the election already. 280 votes. He had to surpass his 270, and now he has 294. Whoops. So,
yep.
Already.
It's actually more than that. We'll put it in all the no data states after. Washington, no surprise here as well. We're getting comments as well about Washington going red. No, Washington has very urban parts like Seattle. So
that Washington State is actually one of the areas where there was a riot because of Black Lives Matter, and it got pretty serious in Seattle. And there was Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Washington. So there are very Democratic people who lean a lot to the left, and there's no chance of it going to the Republicans.
And same with Oregon as well. We're getting comments about Oregon going blue. No. There's a reason why there's no data here, because they were simply so solid for the Democrats that they don't need to perform polls here. No chance of Oregon going red either. All right. West Virginia, I will not be surprised. Yeah, okay. West Virginia actually swung from one of the more Democratic states to a very solid Trump, I don't want to say Trump, but a very solid Republican state in the recent years. Mm-hmm. It's kind of surprising that, oh gosh, what's his name? Oh God, Joe Manchin. It's no surprise. It's kind of surprising that Joe Manchin still is their senator, considering he's Democratic, but he is very, very conservative as a Democratic, so I guess they're still electing him there. All right, 7.1 point lead for Biden in the final key swing state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin, at the beginning, it was a
most states. Yeah, in the blue wall. We were giving it to Trump at one point.
Because polling had him ahead as well. Looking in the beginning, he had a 1 point lead. He also had a blip of time, also a pretty slim lead here as well. obviously that has changed a lot recently. Like, it was actually competitive and kind of back and forth before May, and then it just shoots up for Joe Biden. He now has a 50% lead. So 7.1. This was the only state that the polls fell outside the margin of error in 2016, but we think that they are a little bit more accurate now, and we do trust that he will probably win the state at the end of the day. So this is our final map, 164, 316 to 58. As promised, let's actually put in what our predictions are for the no data states. So Oregon will go blue, Vermont, Rhode Island, DC.
No question there. Illinois also just is very safe. Chicago, very state. And the rest, Louisiana, Wyoming, Idaho, they're also safe Republican states.
So therefore, according to this map here, that is, did I put South Dakota? Oops, that was a mistake there. But according to this map, 185 to 353, that would be the biggest victory since 2008. Obama's victory in 2008. This would be a huge win for Joe Biden. It's gonna be less than this. We think that Ohio will probably flip, and some of the margins will be a little bit slimmer than we presented here.
Yep.
But that is the end of the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. And if you like our content, please hit subscribe. We'll see you in our next episode tomorrow.
See ya.